Did you ever have an insubordinate employee who talked smack about your company to other coworkers and to your clients? Or they disrupted the service that you were providing by going rogue and not filling out checklists, not bringing their own cleaning supplies or not having the right cleaning supplies with them, not responding when you text them messages, just challenging authority and all those kinds of things. Have you ever had somebody like that in your company, and what on earth do you do about it? I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. All right, on to today's show. Interesting question. There's a house cleaner, and she's just one hair short of firing an employee for insubordination. And she's super frustrated, and she wants to know, is there anything else that I can do? Well, it takes me back to when I was about this tall. I was a young child, but I'm one of 19 kids. I'm the fourth to the oldest. And mom and dad had one kid every single year. So there are no twins, no triplets, but my mom was pregnant pretty much the whole entire time I was growing up. And so if I misbehaved or I acted out, it was kind of like heightened by her hormones and her migraine headaches and all that stuff, right? So it wasn't pleasant for her to try to punish me. And I was kind of like this rambunctious kid with lots of energy. So in order to resolve the punishment issue in our house, mom and dad had this great big archway as you walked inside the house. And they hung on these little nails that run all across the top of the archway of the house. They hung a little cardboard smiley face. And then if we would misbehave, mom would turn it over and it became a frowny face. I know, super scary, right? But it had all of our initials over those nails. So every person had one smiley face or a frowny face. And so Yolanda, Jennifer, Peter, Angela, Thomas, Jacob, Stephen, Samuel, Julie, Melanie, Michael, Joseph, Joshua, Brigham, okay, all the way down. All right, so what happens is my dad would walk in from work and he would just look at the archway and mine would be turned over to a frown and he would say, Angela, in my den. That was it. And so did he talk to mom already? Did he know what I did? How in trouble am I already? I didn't know. So I would go into his den and he had this great big leather chair. And it was one of those great big tall wingback chairs. And I was tiny, so I would kind of like get dwarfed in this great big chair. And he would sit right there on the ottoman in front of me. Then he would hold my hand and he would look right into my eyes. And he'd say, Angela, you're a very bright little girl. Can you share with me what happened today and your reasons for it? I'm sure you had a very good reason. And then he would let me talk. Now, I didn't know if he talked to mom, but my story never needed to match up with mom because he was not comparing my story with mom. Your mom said you did this. There was never any of that. It was always, can you share with me what happened? So it was my story he was validating. So he would listen and I would share with him my side of the story. Then when I was done, he would say, here's the gap that he's bridging. Your mom is pregnant and she doesn't feel well. What can we do, you and me, we're here on a team together, what can we do to make her life easier? So then I would come up with solutions as to what I thought we could do to remedy the situation, right? I'm the one that caused the problem. Now I'm the one that has to come up with the solution. Then when I was done, he would say, how do you think this is what do you think is a fair punishment, or how do you think we should resolve this? And so I would come up with things. I'll help with the dishes. I'll read stories to the kids. I'll help pick up this. I'll do an extra load of laundry. And I'll pick rocks out of the garden so it doesn't bust the rototiller blades while we're, tilling the ground. And I'll go collect eggs from the chicken coop. And I kept coming up with thing after thing after thing to try to get myself off the punishment. Finally, he would stop and he would say, okay, why don't you go start on those tasks? And then he would release me and I would go start on those tasks so that I could pay off whatever it is that I had misbehaved for. All right, the reason I share this story with you is because during this punishment, during this interchange, he never defamed me. He never made me feel sad or stupid for the thing I had done during the day. Because as a child, maybe I had a very good reason, or I thought I did, for why I behaved that way. If I didn't have a very good reason, this conversation that we had kind of unraveled that for me, and I realized the stupid mistakes that I'd made, right? But he never, ever challenged my decision on what I had done. What he challenged me on was, can we do better? What can we do to help mom? And what do you think is a fair punishment? And he gave me 100% of the responsibility to remedy that situation. So now, going back to the insubordinate employee. Insubordinate employees challenge authority for a particular reason. And it is easy for us as employers to come in and write them up and say, we're going to punish you 2 more times and you're out of here, and, let them go and all these things. But what is the reason why? And so one of the things that has served me best in my business over the years is to have that conversation. and say, hey, listen, I'm sure you have a very good reason for your behavior. What is going on here? Can you share with me what is happening and why you chose these particular methods to follow? And then when they start talking, you can listen. Okay, so here's what's happening in our company. Here's how it's being perceived by other employees. Here's what's happening with our customer base. How can we, you and me, how can we resolve that? And then give them one more. What do you think is a fair way to resolve this? What do you think is a fair punishment for this type of behavior now and if it should happen again? And let them come up with the solution. Because already the reason they're challenging authority is because they think they have the solutions. And so they will come up with solutions for you because you just acknowledge the fact and you validated the fact that they do have smart ideas, that they do have a voice and that their voice matters and that you are willing to listen. Okay? So immediately what you've done is you've removed all of the angst from the situation and that, oh, I'm so mad, I just want to fire that person. Because that is our first instinct. We want to fire that person and remove the cancer from our business. But if we stop and we say, hey, listen, you're a very important part of our business, and I would like for us moving forward to work together as a team. Can you help me with that? What do you think is a fair way to do that? And put them back in control so that they can be part of the solution for the problem they themselves created. It is an amazing way to work through some of the issues that you are going to have, if you haven't had already, that you are going to have as a business owner. So my suggestion for this particular house cleaner, before you fire your insubordinate employee, because I know that's the thing that we really want to do. We just want to get rid of them. But challenge yourself to have a conversation first and find out where they're coming from and the reasons behind the behavior. Because oftentimes it will uncover a whole bunch of other things that you didn't even know about your business and ways that you can work together. And if people feel like they're being listened to, that you care, and that you are part of their solution, behavior changes almost overnight. I've seen it over and over and over and over again, and it's a lesson I learned from my dad. All right, if you have questions, leave your questions and your comments in the notes below. If this was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.